this party has the interest of the young people at heart. If you recall, we are the people who called for Dr. Fred to come and vie and be a presidential candidate, not Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is the only person during 2024 who stood with the young people and said, go and get what is yours. Mr. Omar, you're even going to a point Mzee Kenyatta is asleep. Mimi 25 na sijai muona. You want to tell me is the cause of the issues that we are having right now? We want a serious government. Lakini tunajua sio yenye iko sahi. So we are busy coming in together as the young people. Not only to take you home, but to make Kenya great again. Thank you.
Nahitaji makofi mingi. Nahitaji makofi. I think a little bit of what has happened before. 2013, Uhuru went out of his way na akamchukua Ruto kama his running mate. Na Jubilee took a slogan ya kusema tuko pamoja. 2017, again, it was Ruto again running mate wa Uhuru. Jubilee put parties together na tukachukua slogan ya kusema bere pamoja. 2018, Uhuru goes out of his way, gets the late leader Amoro Odinga, and they have a great handshake. In the same spirit of twende bele pamoja kama Kenya. But immediately after that, after the 2022 elections, what do we see? An onslaught on Jubilee, an onslaught on Uhuru's family, vita baada ya vita, watu wanatamani nyama ya kodo yake, wengine wanaenda kusema mpaka wanaharibu jina ya Mama Ngina Kenyatta. We are out in the streets, tumefaa sufuria, tumeenda Limuru 3, all these things were being done by Kenyans. Sasa mwisho yake ni nini? What we saw 2 days ago, I don't know why this would want to corrupt. In KTN, Kasongo ende. Kasongo kila pale. What we saw in the last 2 days are Kenyans themselves organizing na kusema enough is enough. There was no single political statement that was uttered. Na kuna mwanasiasa tuliona pale akisema lolote. Na instead of the people in power addressing the issues that were being raised by Kenyans, Uhuru. Uhuru. What I think we should be looking forward to is an exit plan kutoka kwa William Samoei Ruto. Kenya, I drove yesterday to Nyeri. I was trying to attend a burial. Watoto nilikuta wameweka mawe pale barabarani, 14, 16 year olds, wanakuita kuja. All they are looking for is 100 shillings, 200 shillings, and they let you pass. One, that is very scary. Why are they not in school? Two, that level of trying to recruit people, kwa sababu hiyo ni serikali ina recruit watoto wetu kwa crimes. You cannot allow that to happen. When you have those kind of young people on, it doesn't scare me because they look like criminals. It's what is me as a father or a grandfather of what is happening to our young people. Na baada ya jioni kuangalia, naona Murkomen anasema ati hii magari ilikuwa ya watu wengine. Ati we in the Mount Kenya region, we have been here before. Hakuna mtu ataticha sisi. We want to live together. Mambo ya kustua mtu ya kwamba unafikiria utaenda popote, hakuna pahali tunaenda. Haya ni mambo ambayo hautayaona na sisi tena. Hii ni kujifisha. Na Wakenya wajue tumekuwa hapa before. What is scaring these guys? They have a finance bill that Kenyans must reject. Hiyo finance bill ndio inakuja kuua sisi kabisa. hawataki tuseme ya kwamba ndege ambayo Ruto ametembelea kule, sijui alikuwa pande gani, hata sijui hiyo Kenya inasemwa namna gani jina yake, kule alikuwa a jet that they are paying 5 million shillings an hour. Sasa fanya hesabu kuanzia siku alitoka hapa na siku atarudi, ile pesa ambayo imetumika. Those are the issues we want to address. And finally, the joblessness level in this country. Stop hiding. Don't look for things kufuga wa Kenya macho. Shida tunajua ziko na Wakenya wanazijua. Wao wenyewe ndio wanasema. Sisi wenyewe ni kupatiana uongozi kwa hayo mambo. Asanteni sana. Niacha hii na Deputy Party Leader Mheshimiwa Fred Okengo Matiang'I.
Thank you very much. I'm certainly not good at this. You know, I have kept hoping that I will see an end to, you know, what I normally call very nonsensical conversations in the public space. We are in a crisis. And then let me be very frank about this. As someone who has had the privilege and the blessing of working in the public sector before and serving our country, I understand government very well. I can read what is going on. I can tell Kenyans very sincerely, we are walking down to a crisis. Not just because we have, of course, because we have an incompetent government, but because in addition to that incompetence, they have mismanaged the country and every avenues of engagement in a spectacular and historic manner. So, I would like to urge our leaders, take time now to address the challenges we face, or at least show a sense of understanding and respect for the public by attempting a conversation on the challenges that we face. Not on the kind of garbage that you keep spewing every day and so on and so forth. The challenges we face in this country have nothing to do with a tribe. So you cannot say huwezi kusema hii shida imeletwa na Wakikuyu ama hii shida imeletwa na Wakamba ama imeletwa na kina fulani. Hiyo ni tabia ya mtu ambaye ameshindwa kufanya kazi. Kwa sababu mahali popote utaenda katika taifa letu la Kenya, watu wanaumia na watu wanalia. Kila wakati sisi wengine tunajiuliza hawa wenzetu viongozi wanaishi wapi? Because there isn't a part of this country I've gone to where you do not meet people suffering, young men and women who have deferred their university learning programs because they cannot raise fees. Kids who cannot go to secondary school because the fees is unaffordable. Levies have been introduced that the government is not even in control of and doesn't even know. These are the challenges we face. Forget about, and we can see, we are not dumb. Tunaweza kuona clearly matamushi haya yanaelekea wapi. This kind of language where it is headed. Kusema eti kwa sababu wakati ule bei ya mafuta ilienda juu wakati Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta alikuwa rais, mbona hakukuwa na shida? Niko na jibu. Kwa sababu we were responsible leaders, sisi tuliongea na wananchi na tukawaheshimu. Kukiwa na shida na kukiwa na maneno kama hayo, tulikuwa tunaita hata private sector, Kenya Private Sector Alliance, Kenya Association of Manufacturers na wale wengine, tunaketi chini tunazungumza nao. Viongozi wa dini wote wakituitisha tulikuwa tunafanya kikao nao, tunaongea nao na magavana na wale wengine, because democracy is government by consultation and government by consensus as you go along. Lakini sasa this arrogance that we see here and juvenile hubris that you are witnessing ndio shida. Mimi ya mwisho ningesema ni the worst mistake you can make as a government is to politicize national security issues. Upeleke siasa kwa maneno na masuala ya usalama. Kitu ikitokea useme ni kabila hii ama ni kabila ingine, ni wale wengine, ni sehemu hii. Kasumba kama hii imetuletea shida huko mbeleni. Na tusiende barabara hiyo tafadhali, tutaumiza nchi. Tusiende barabara hiyo. Na yale ambayo yamefanyika jana, ukiangalia mambo ambayo yalifanyika Murang'a jana, mambo ambayo yalikuwa yanafanyika Naivasha, unaona wazi kwamba labda kulikuwa na mpango hapa. But I'm asking the government, if you want to prove us wrong, arrest those who are involved and present them before a court of law, because that is how you prove that you are serious. Lakini kila wakati ni excuses, you know. Maybe somebody should give award this government or record them in the Guinness Book of World Records for being the government that has generated the most excuses to govern. Oh, he inherited empty coffers. Oh, it is Uhuru. Oh, it was Raila and Azimio. Oh, it is who. I mean, it's someone else is to blame. Not their own failure to manage the country. Hiyo ndio shida. Tunawaheshimu kama viongozi wetu. Wakati umefika, if they did not see this danger, wakati umefika wa kufanya mjadala. Lakini sisi kama chama cha Jubilee ndio wa kwanza kusema tunajiunga na Wakenya wengine kukataa finance bill 2026, reject finance bill 2026. Ukiangalia yale mbaya yako kwa hiyo finance bill, unashangaa tutaishi wapi na tutaenda wapi. The cost of living is already unbearable for many. Kenyan workers, wafanyakazi wa Kenya saa hii. Sijui kama kuna mfanyakazi Kenya hii ambaye anatarajia ama anatasamia kupata payslip. Maisha ya kufanya kazi nchi sasa imekuwa kama ni utumwa. It's slavery. And Kenyan workers are paying every day over taxation. Na ukweli ni kwamba hii serikali imetoka kwa mpango wa IMF program. Why did they get out of the IMF program? Kwa sababu wamekataa audit. IMF inauliza audit. Na mnajua kwa nini wanakataa audit. Sisi zote tunajua kwa nini wanakataa audit. Because they have refused to accept that audit. They have gotten out of the IMF program. Sasa they are trying to look for money to plug the holes through overtaxation. That is the truth. Tuambiane ukweli na tuambie wananchi ukweli yale ambayo yanafanyika. So whether you bribe leaders of the transport sector for a day or two to get out of the street, whether you intimidate them or whatever you do, the problem does not go away. And this is the same short-termism, short-sighted way of managing the country that these people have adopted. There is a problem, throw money at it, bribe some people, or alternatively intimidate them or abduct them, or alternatively say ni kabila fulani nataka kuleta shida. You are moving all of us into a crisis and trying to profile one community. Eti you think it is going to be fashionable? Shida ambayo iko kila mahali Kenya hii. Hata ukienda Garissa, uende wapi, shida ni hiyo kila Mkenya anapitia. Sasa kwanza kuambia wananchi eti ni maneno yanaletwa na kabila moja and so on and so forth, which doesn't make sense. Ya mwisho, there are retired presidents around the world. You know, the level of pettiness that we see from this administration is shocking. You know, some of the things that people say, these guys talk about, they can make a dog cry. The president retired, and that's all. And serikali, unajua, if you cannot manage a retired president, honestly, what can you do? Utafanya nini? You know, managing a retired president is the easiest thing because there is an act that says what that retired president is entitled to. Na mzee amefanya kazi yake, amepumzika, ako pale huko Ijaweri, anaendelea kuangalia mambo ya wajukuu wake. Sasa wewe kazi yako ni kila siku, even at the middle of the night you dream you are having a nightmare. Unaita Uhuru Kenyatta. You are going to call your wife or your girlfriend Uhuru Kenyatta in the middle of the night. Let's be serious, people. I'm telling you, let's be serious, people. Kenya deserves better. We have been independent for the last 63 years. We are respected around the world, in the region. We are asking our leaders, we are better than that. Is why in Jubilee we are saying we are better than this. We would like to change this administration because Kenyans deserve better. Deserve better leadership. And what would we do so that I don't concentrate on negatives only? We would introduce transparency and management of the energy sector differently from what you see these days. We will not engage in conflict of interest. We will not lead a government where we ourselves are doing business in the oil sector. Because in doing that, because of conflict of interest, we will not be able to regulate and manage the sector effectively. We will give an opportunity to all Kenyans. We will be transparent about what we do and accountable about public affairs. If we spend money from the petroleum fund levy or the road maintenance levy, we will tell the public what we have done in that kind of way. And even if we don't tell the public for one reason or the other, we have parliament. Parliament is the representative of the people. Elected members of parliament ought to be told and ought to be explained to everything that is happening by government. Sasa, if they don't trust the rest of us, even with the so-called G2G, why don't they take it to parliament? Our representatives are in parliament. I will be very happy and satisfied myself if members of parliament were taken through all this and all this information was given to members of parliament. Sasa hii ukora unaendelea hapa ya kuibia nchi ndio imetuleta mahali tumefika. Na wananchi wakiuliza maswali ni kupiga nduru Uhuru Kenyatta. Sasa Uhuru Kenyatta ni chorus to explain everything including your incapacity to deal with things. Finally, The level of insecurity in this country is going out of hand. On this particular one, I am doing because I have an individual and personal responsibility as a former Minister of Interior. The level of insecurity in our country is going out of hand. In rural parts of this country, challenges like livestock theft and so on are on the rise. Homicide cases, cases of rape and the murder of women, femicide is becoming a crisis now in the country. You have noticed in the recent weeks what has happened. Young children raped, killed, and so on and so forth. Please, take charge. You have the law, you have the instruments. Take charge. And as you take charge, come out and engage candidly and listen to the people of Kenya. I respect and I believe everyone should respect our religious leaders. They have almost shouted themselves hoarse addressing this administration, the Conference of Catholic Bishops, the PCA leaders, the NCCK, everyone. Please listen to those men and women of God, and government should listen. But for now, we will all be holding now public engagements ourselves as we go along with our members, discussing Finance Bill 2026. Our honest view is that it should be rejected because of its draconian and punitive taxation measures that will hurt everybody in the country. Thank you.
Questions?
Yeah, they don't have questions. They are very happy with what we have said and they are satisfied. Yes, sir.
Yes, but Harry, from what you said as a former government, senior government representative or senior government officer, do you think before the next election, is there anything the government should do maybe to tap into the wisdom? Because we also talked about dialogue, consultation before next election. Do you think there's anything they can do to tap into whatever you're saying? Secondly, it's not the first time people are dying due to protest. It has happened during the time of the CS for Interior. Do you think there's something else that can be done maybe so that people can just protest peacefully without? Yes.
Bear in mind, I'll start with the second question. Bear in mind, I was the Minister for Interior when former Prime Minister Raila Odinga went to Uhuru Park to swear himself in. Not a single bullet was shot that day. Not a single Mwananchi was injured. Against the advice and the pressure by even some of the people in power today that we should behave otherwise. President Kenyatta refused. I refused as the Minister for Interior, and we didn't have a problem. Responsible policing is something that this country has invested in very heavily. I mean, we have, some of you may not know, we have a security compact with several countries. Security compact is mainly a training and support program with several governments that support our security sector in terms of training, riot control, crowd management, and so on and so forth. Responsible policing is something that we have worked on since almost independence. Even before I became Minister for Interior myself, this has been going on. And there is also regulations called standing orders on how police are supposed to conduct their affairs. In most cases, to be honest with you, for the entire time I was there, and I have noticed the police try the best they can to respect those standing orders. The difference, I think, here is, as I said, the politicization of the security responsibilities. Somebody somewhere in this whole arrangement is supporting the deployment of goons and criminals side by side with what the police are doing. And in that process, people get injured. In some cases where the police may be blamed, it's probably these goons and these thugs, some of them supported by leaders, others who brag very openly and so on and so forth. So that's why I've said several times, and I would like to say again, I know most of our leaders in the security sector. Many of them are actually serious people. They are honest, serious people. They are good officers. They need to be allowed, they need to be given an opportunity to do their work without undue political pressure. When you hear these kind of political statements that are being made, irresponsible, reckless political statements being made, they are meant to intimidate and sometimes push the security sector in a particular direction. If the police were left to act objectively, their leaders were given the way they need to act, some of the issues we are dealing with will not happen. But when mistakes happen and when challenges happen, such as people die and force is used disproportionately, the law is very clear. Investigations ought to be done. Those who are involved are brought to book because we are a rule of law country. there are officers who were involved when I was minister myself in some cases. In some other cases, investigations have been done and the process of prosecution is going on. In some cases, even punishment has already happened. We have no security anywhere else except in the law. All of us, because you see, we can't all be ministers, we can't all be police officers. Today it's me, tomorrow it's you. We are all equal before the law and we will be protected by the law. We say, let's follow the law. That's what we're asking our colleagues to do. As for whether or not there's any wisdom I have, the wisdom I have is to ask them to leave. Because the level of damage they have done to the country is irredeemable. And more painful, especially because I know and I understand the capacity of our country. I know what my country can do. I know what the people in this country can do. I've worked with so many public servants. I know what some of these senior public servants can do in an environment where they are given proper political support and there is will to do good. But I mean, right now, I have never seen, for the time that I have been paying attention, I never knew a time when there was such resentment even within the security sector teams themselves. And how do we know, ordinary citizens? Because now they are talking about it. Even politicization of deployment. People are lined up, in X number of commands in Nairobi. X number of them are placed in one ethnic community and so on, which you can tell clearly the reasons why it's being done. So they are not happy themselves. We are not happy, and that's why we think the best they could do to this country is to do a decent thing, and they know what the decent thing is. Yes, sir.
You say that they should listen to the leaders, but more often you see when the leaders speak, there's a section of other leaders, they say yes, so what's the message to the leaders? Because there's a trend or a pattern to divide and the rule. Suddenly, advises already meets another section of leaders, says all the leaders, and in fact, in most cases, we have seen even some religious leaders being told you did not came out and say this was the rule was in the government. So there's also blame them, even to those same religious leaders, and divide them. So what's your message to the religious leaders who can be have a country where religious leaders can speak in one voice?
Listen to Kenyans, whether they are religious leaders, academics, civil society leaders, Mama Mboga group leaders. Listen to the people of Kenya. That's all we are saying. And when you listen to them, we are a democracy. People have a right to express themselves how they please. But when people ask questions again and again of our government, it's only logical that that government at least pays attention to the questions and the issues that are being asked and avoids deflection, deflecting or trying to take away the attention from the issues to irrelevant tribal issues and dragging in the retired president and his family in cases where, honestly speaking, he is absolutely innocent. Final one, because we said 3.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Just two from me. First of all, your take as a party regarding where the strike, the fuel strike that was called off, but actually was suspended for 7 days by a section of the Transport Sector Alliance, the way they call themselves. Do you think they represented the cause for many Kenyans who, are suffering and looking up to them? That is my first question. And then the second question would be in regards to the demands you have created as a party if they are not met in terms of disclosure of the fuel pricing formula and also more explanation regarding the alleged securitization of the fuel levy. If these demands are not met, what will be your next action?
Well, first, when we make these demands as a party or when we ask these questions as a party, we also know that we are members in Parliament and members in the Senate. We'll do the best we can. We are a rule of law party, first of all. We truly believe that we should act and transact strictly according to the rule of law. So when we make these demands and ask questions about these disclosures, it is because we intend that is the way public debate should go on these issues, and it's upon government to decide whether they are going to be responsible enough and accede to these demands or raise these issues, because we're asking very basically for accountability. It's very basic accountability. I would not think twice about these issues because they're straightforward matters. And we'll continue ventilating through the institutions that exist. You know, we also I don't believe, and we don't think it's the right thing to operate the way you want to propose. We make these demands.